The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. We're also brought to you by the Golf Gambling Podcast tailor-made sell-to driver giveaway. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver to enter today before the big drawing on Sunday, April the 8th. And we're also brought to you by Baseball Money is Fake, our fantasy baseball podcast. Join Blake and Ryan 3 times a week and get all the player breakdowns and statistical data you'll ever need to dominate. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Monday, April the 3rd, currently 11:13 on the East Coast. No NBA games today, but that's not a problem. We're still going to talk about some things in the NBA going on. It's the final week of the regular season. I know that NCAA National Championship is tonight, but hey, we still have a lot to figure out, at least in the Western Conference, for some of these teams in the play-in tournament. But we'll break it all down in the final week of futures that we may be looking at, playoff implications and things of that nature. But joining me here as usual on Mondays, you guys know him as the superstar of the show. He's the villain. It's Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, it's already the last week of the regular season, my man. You excited?
Yeah, I'm ready for the playoffs to start. It's been a long ride, but we here. I'm ready to see some real ball being played, and I'm ready to see some teams collapse because there are definitely some teams that are collapsing.
Yeah, I mean, just yesterday, I think we had a pretty interesting schedule. I know you and Delonte recorded yesterday. How did the picks turn out yesterday for you guys?
My lock cashed. I had Bulls -5. That was easy. My dog was the Thunder. Yeah, they just so again, and I don't know. I got a hard on for the Thunder, and that's what happened. I got a hard on for Thunder, and I forgot that they're literally trying to give away the 10 seed, and just nobody wants to take it. Like nobody wants to take it. But the Dallas game was good. Dallas covered. He's saying that Hawks cashed. The Hawks did not cash because the Hawks were a 3-point favorite. They did not cover. The Dallas did cover. They almost tried. They tried to blow that game a million times. And they ultimately ended up, I think that was a bad foul call on Kyrie Irving in the last possession. It was Trae Young slipped into Kyrie. Kyrie was already moving. Like, that's just incidental contact. You don't really call anything like that. But ZM is my biggest hater. I swear you are. He comes in here every day and tries to figure out the 1-2 games that I'm wrong. Was Memphis my lock? No, I just said I like Memphis because they're a better team. But again, with Memphis, that was the ultimate, and that just proved that for the rest of the week we have to fade Memphis. They don't care. They don't care. They truly don't care.
That was a tale of Memphis does not care, though.
Huh?
I mean, that game was a tale of two halves. I thought that Memphis was pretty much running away with that game. It was really the third quarter.
They didn't care. Yeah. Once the second half came, it was like, all right. I mean, like, and then you're watching the collapse, and there's no sense of urgency. There's no nothing. They're just like, all right, like, bro, we're still a 2 seed in the West. Like, we do not care about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about that. They're pretty much cemented into that 2 seed. Denver with a huge victory last night against Golden State.
That was Golden State's worst loss of the season.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was
that's the worst loss of the season. I think, all things considered, that has to be the worst loss of the season. No Jokic. You go into Denver. 1, you need the momentum of finally winning a road game. 2, you need the win in general to make sure you're not injuring yourself closer to a play-in. Like that might have been the worst loss for them all season.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I kind of went.
They still covered. They still covered. So Golden State minus 2.5.
Plus
2.5. Plus 2.5 still cashes. So
I mean, if you take a look at the box score last night in that game, when you have your 2 best players ended up combining, I think it was like 17 of 56 from the floor, and I think they were. I'm trying to pull up the 3-point numbers. 7 of 30 from 3-point land, and Denver only wins by 2. If you would have told me after the game that those were the shooting numbers for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, I would have think that Denver won by at a minimum of double digits in this game.
I would have.
Yeah,
If you
go ahead.
told me that Denver didn't have Jokic, I would have told you they lost the game, no matter who
Yeah,
they were playing.
yeah,
Like, there's no way. And so, good on Denver. That was a really, really good win. That was I think for that team, outside of Jokic, getting that win like that with Jokic out
mhm,
is like a huge confident booster to where they truly believe, hey, we can do this. Like, we
yeah,
can do this year.
yeah.
They're not going to do it, but they really believe that they can do it. And I think that's really good for the psyche of that team.
Yeah, and then yesterday we also saw the biggest upset, we can say, in NBA history as far as a point spread. The Portland Trailblazers, as a depending on the number that you got, I
17
think
point dog.
close, yeah, 17. I think I also saw 18 and a half close to game time, but they get the victory over the
Oh, no,
Minnesota.
it was 19. It says it closed
Wasn't
at
it?
19 and a half. It says it
Yeah.
right here. Yeah, it says right here, it closed at 19 and a half. Holy
Yeah, they
crap.
got the victory over Minnesota 107-105. And then the other upset was the San Antonio Spurs taking Sacramento into overtime yesterday and beating them by 8 points, 142-134. I think I can understand the Sacramento one more, Terrell, because they clinched in Portland. They stayed in Portland, played another game against Portland in Portland. They came back home. And then from what I read, that there were like fans at the airport waiting to greet them. And then you know how it is when they get back from a long West Coast or from a road trip. A little flat spot for them yesterday. But yeah, those were the two upsets yesterday in the association. So we're kind of starting to see it shape up now, at least in the Western Conference, of which teams are going to be in that play-in tournament, or I should say for the Eastern Conference at least. I think there's still things up for grabs in the Western Conference. But before we get into the playoff picture and all that good stuff, Terrell, anything else you want to mention about yesterday before we actually dive into the last week of the NBA and then the playoff look ahead?
Yes. The Utah Jazz are inevitable. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What's the updated number on them as the underdog?
I believe that we are now up to 30, 12, and 1 as an underdog this season.
There we go.
You're up 18 jillion, trillion, kabillion, zillion units.
And they're a team that just doesn't give up, man. Especially in that, if they're down at the half, like you think they're down, like
Bro, they were down double digits. They
Yeah.
were down double digits at one point in the game, and they came back in the fourth quarter.
they had
What
a
did they
chance to win it
outscore
too.
them? Yeah, they
42
did.
to 26.
42-26 fourth quarter. Like, oh my god, this team's amazing. Yeah, man, I can't. When do they play again? When do we get them? Oh my god, they're a 7-point dog at home to the Lakers. They're gonna win that game outright.
That number opened at 5 too. That's all the way up to 7 now.
They're gonna win that game outright.
Hey, it's a possibility.
It's a look ahead spot for the Lakers. The Lakers have the Clippers on Wednesday.
Clippers the next night. Yep.
Yeah, they have the Clippers the next night. They're gonna lose that game outright. Then the Lakers are gonna go beat the Clippers for the first time in I don't know how long.
I think it's 0-9 over the last 10 or 9 games head to head.
Something like that. Did they seriously not get a win? They didn't beat the Clippers this season?
Oh, they haven't.
Did they?
I don't think so. Here, I'll try to look it up. So
what's their head to head? No, they still haven't beat the Clippers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry, 10 games in a row. They still haven't beat the Clippers.
I really need the Clippers to lose that game for my 7-1 Clippers to miss the playoff ticket.
I think they do beat them on Wednesday because let's just we could just transition right into it here in the Western Conference. But hold on, before we do that, before we get into the futures and all that good stuff, we'll start with the Western Conference. But let me tell everyone about Shady Rays. Kick off the new year with the new gear built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays, they're an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've ever worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays is has the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by the lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, Even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair for free. No questions asked. Wear Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look good and feel good. To date, they have donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. And if you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within the 30-day return window period. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving away their best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for a 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shady Rays rated 5-star by over 200,000 people. I just got an email this morning, Terrell, that my Shady Rays were shipped. So hopefully they get in time, maybe for the show tomorrow or on Thursday. I can, sport those polarized sunglasses that I did order. All right. So you want to start with the West or you want to start with the East?
Yeah, let's go. Let's just finish up the West.
All right. So right now, I think we pretty much know who the 1 and 2 seeds, or even 1 to 3 seeds, are going to be in the Western Conference. That right now is the Denver Nuggets, who have a 3-game lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies have a 2-game lead in that 2 spot over the Sacramento Kings. And then Phoenix right now is pretty much cemented into that 4 spot as well. So between 3 and 4, so between Sacramento and Phoenix is a 4-game separation. And now where it gets interesting, Terrell, it's from the 5 seed all the way down. Let's go down to the 11th seed. We can even go down to the 12th seed if we want. So currently, if the playoffs started right now, we would have a first-round matchup between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers and the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. Right now, in that play-in tournament bracket, the 2 teams that would face off for that 7th spot would be the LA Lakers taking on the Pelicans. And then the number 9 and 10 seed currently are the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. 11th seed right now is the Dallas Mavericks.
They just nobody want to take that 10 seed. Like everybody is trying to avoid the 10 seed, like crack in the 80s. Like, oh my God. I think all 3 of these teams have lost their last 3 games, or like 3 of their 4 last games, something like that. Like they've all been losing.
Yeah, so Minnesota has lost 3 in a row now. OKC, I think, want to say I've lost 4 of the last 5 or 3 of the last 4.
So OKC has lost. Yeah, OKC has lost 3 of the last 4. Dallas has lost 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. Utah has lost, it feels like, 3 of their last 4. Like, yeah, I think the funny thing about the play-in is that we've been forgetting a 10 seed is still a 10 seed. Your team still sucks. Like, like for the majority of the existence of the NBA, if you're a 10 seed, your team sucks. And now you're watching all these sucky teams battle out for 1 seed, and we're trying to talk ourselves into them being good, and they're not.
Yeah, they're not. I was trying to, I swear to God, I thought I saw it earlier, make or miss playoff odds before we got on there. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's start with the bottom there because that's really the conversation right now. Obviously, I think the Lakers are going to be in that play-in tournament bracket. They may be able to leapfrog into the 6th spot if they really wanted to, if Golden State continues to struggle. So Golden State right now has a half a game lead over the 7th spot, the LA Lakers. The Warriors have 1 game against the Kings left, 1 against Portland, and 1 against OKC. Okay. And the Lakers, like we talked about, they still have 2 games against the Utah Jazz. They have 1 against Phoenix, and they have 1 against the Clippers. So judging, I guess, by that, I think Golden State still does finish as a 6th seed, and then we probably see Lakers playing for that 7th, 8th seed matchup. Right now, as far as odds could go right now, Terrell, Lakers are minus 900 to make the playoffs. This is not a play-in tournament. Make the playoffs, and then the no is at 6-1. Let's go further down the list. Pelicans to make the playoffs, minus 245. And for them to miss the playoffs is plus 195. So I'm pretty much thinking, or the books are thinking, that Lakers and Pelicans are probably going to end up being the 7th or 8th seed. If we want to go down a little further, Minnesota is plus 105 to make the playoffs. And then if we want to go down even further, Dallas Mavericks has plus 750, Terrell, to make the playoffs. Any of that entice you?
I mean, I think the value is just fading the standings as they are right now. Like, because they're basically just going off the standings, and they're saying 1 through 8 is 100% going to make it. And you're trying to tell me that there is a more than 0 chance possibility that the loser of the 7-8 game doesn't lose again? Because the Cavs were the 7th seed last year. They lost twice and got bounced out. I want to say the Clippers lost both games and got bounced out last year. Did that happen? They lost the first game against Minnesota.
Yeah, they were eliminated by Minnesota, right?
They lost the first game to Minnesota. Did they not lose the next game to the Pelicans? Yeah.
Yep.
So if we're just going off of the last year, both 7 seeds found themselves out to play in. Or you could just say the winner or the loser of the first game found themselves out. So I think there's value on just saying there is more than a 0 possibility that New Orleans, Lakers, Golden State, Clippers, because all those are in the realm for the 7-8 seed, could be out. So I'm already sitting on a Clippers 7-1, and I feel pretty decent about saying the Clippers have a chance to miss because it's really that Lakers game. That Lakers game solidifies you in the playoffs. I think the winner of that Lakers Clippers game solidifies you in the playoffs. And then the Clippers have the Trailblazers, and then they finish the season with the Suns.
Yeah.
So do the Suns? You're telling me that Chris Paul in this team is going to have an opportunity to bounce the Clippers into the playing game, and they're not going to go all out?
Yeah. So
really?
So let's look at the Clippers' remaining schedule there. Right. So, like we mentioned, they have a game against Phoenix, and then they have the game against the Lakers, and then they have Portland. Portland, I know they're missing their pretty much their entire starting lineup, but they're still feisty, man. Look, we saw it yesterday. They beat Minnesota. It's a possibility that they pay spoiler, and
I think they lose to the Lakers and the Clippers. If they lose to the Lakers and the Clippers, they're in the play-in. That's not because that's one win. You're half game back. The Lakers are going to move up. Golden State would have to hold serve because they have the tiebreaker over Golden State. And Golden State has the Warriors coming to home. They got to go a road trip they have 2 road games to end the season against the Kings Warriors and the Trailblazers. Yeah. So we just assume everybody beats the Trailblazers. And then you have that road game again. Okay, so that could be a situation. They have to win that. They have to win out. The Warriors have to win out.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I assume that they're going to bounce back against the Thunder at home tomorrow night. They have to win that road game against the Kings. Luckily, the Kings have nothing to play for. Literally nothing to play for other than the opportunity to bounce the Warriors out.
Or does Mike Brown do his former team a favor?
Ooh. Play the X-Files music.
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, your wrist is
hurting. He definitely could look out. Hey, he definitely could look out. But I also, and Tony said it in the chat a little bit earlier, like Seton is so funny, and it's just so many situations that I think that it's impossible for these teams to game plan for it because all these games are like they're all a half game in between each other. And nobody wants to play Phoenix in round 1.
Yeah, nobody does. Yeah,
nobody. Right. Like I think people would probably, rather take their chances in the play and then run into Phoenix in round 1. So it's just like, I don't know, man. Because Phoenix is the 4. Like Phoenix is the 4. And so
yeah, there's no doubt about that. It just we're gonna try to figure out who's gonna be the 5th seed between. You could throw the Lakers in that conversation, the Clippers, and the Warriors.
No, so if Golden State loses to OKC, 5, I think. If Golden State loses, no, I don't even think if Golden State loses to OKC. I think if the Lakers beat the Clippers, they're the 5 seed.
If Lakers beat the Clippers, they are the 5 seed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how I saw that it plays out. Wow. Who made this schedule? This schedule, hey, they was in a bag in this schedule. This was the perfect spot for a Lakers Clippers game, and we didn't. All right. I don't think I've been this excited for a Lakers Clipper game ever.
So who do you? Okay, so
I'm still sticking to my guns, and I'm still sitting on a plus 700 Clippers to miss the playoffs ticket. So I'm gonna still root for them to lose and find themselves in the play-in.
Okay.
Because anything can happen in the play-in. Like
Yeah.
if you're in the play-in, I think everybody has a chance, and we can reevaluate futures there. In terms of make, I think the only make I really want to buy in is I want to buy in on. Oh no, I don't know if I want to say that out loud. Is Minnesota plus 105 not some value though? They're playing like I know they just lost to the Trailblazers, but like
so
it was the Trailblazers. Nobody really cared. Is that not good value? Like, do we really think Minnesota's not gonna make it at all? With
So Minnesota has a pretty. I think for sure they're going to be in that play-in tournament bracket because they have Brooklyn, they have Pelicans, and they have Spurs left. Those are the 3 games for the final week of the regular season here. All right, so let me rewind a little bit. So who do you think ends up as a 5 seed in the West?
What's Golden State's route again? I'm gonna say Golden State.
Okay, and then you think Lakers will be 6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Lakers are going to lose to the Jazz.
Okay.
The Jazz are winning. The Jazz are winning that home game, and then the Lakers are going to go and they're going to beat the Clippers. Ooh, they'll probably lose to the Suns, and then they beat the Jazz. Again.
Everybody's going to do their. Everybody's going to do their best to avoid Phoenix.
No, seriously, the Suns do have to lose 1 game before the end of the year.
Yeah, but they're cemented into that 4 spot though.
Yeah, they got to lose one of the the last 3 games of the season is Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers. They lose one of those games.
I guess probably. I think Denver. Well, who do they play on Sunday? I like if they're pretty much cemented to that 4. I don't think anybody plays in that game.
Okay. Going back. So, yeah, I'm going to go Lakers. I think that math checks out. If the Clippers lose 2, because I think they lose to the Lakers and the Sun, and the Lakers lose 2, because I think the Lakers lose to the Jazz on Tuesday, and then they just bench everybody, give up on the game, get ready for the Clippers, and then lose to the Sun. I think that adds up to the Lakers being the 6th seed.
Okay. All right. So then Golden State as your 5th seed.
Yeah, because the Kings really don't got nothing to play for, man. If there was ever a road game for them to win, it's a road game against a team that has nothing to play for.
All right. Okay. And then we kind of get into the play-in tournament there. So we think the Clippers fall into that play-in tournament bracket. Let me go.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my guns. I don't know how they do, but they get in the play-in tournament.
So we're pretty much thinking Pelicans, Clippers, Wolves.
Dallas? Oh, I mean, take your pick between who wants to give up the 10 seed. Nobody wants it, clearly. I think everybody's assumption is it's going to be Dallas is going to figure it out at some point. But there's a very good possibility that Luka Doncic is not in the playoffs.
God, can you imagine that? So Dallas right now has 3 games left. They have 1 against Sacramento. They have the Spurs, and then they have Chicago.
Utah has 4 games left. Utah is going to win 1 because I'm basically bought into them beating the Lakers now. Even though the Lakers actually do own the Jazz, low-key. LeBron owns the Jazz, low-key.
Hold on, let me see. There's a game between OKC and Utah. I'm trying to see if that's on Sunday because I feel like
it's on Thursday.
It's on Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Okay. So I think the winner of that game may end up being the 10th seed unless Dallas wins all their games.
Okay. I can buy that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can buy that.
So then you put anything down on the Dallas Mavericks at plus 750 to make the playoffs?
I think so. My question is, do you think Dallas can beat the Kings?
Yeah, it's just kind of going back to your point that
because neither team plays defense. Neither team plays defense, and that's the only issue. Because I would sit here and tell you that the Kings aren't going to play for anything, but I mean, if you're giving them open shots, they're NBA players. They're going to make it.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Even if you got nothing to play for, if you have an open shot as an NBA player, you're going to make it. So I'm just like, if you think that the Mavericks beat the Kings, then they probably make the 10 seed, and they have a chance to make the playoffs.
And that game on yesterday against Atlanta was their last road game of the year. Their remaining 3 are all at home for the Mavericks.
And guess what? Now they have their first home game coming off a 5-game road trip.
Yep.
It's not a good
Well,
spot.
they have 2 days off in between.
Okay.
Because obviously no games today. They don't play tomorrow. That first game's not till Wednesday. So they're Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for the Mavericks. I might put a little bit something down at plus 750. I mean, with Luka, don't you think the league would want Luka in the playoffs?
Yeah, but it's not up to the league. What they gonna do?
Put Scott Foster in there.
Like, what are they gonna do? I mean, it's up for the Mavericks to decide they want to play defense. Did you see that game last night? Like, there was many open cuts to the basket. Like, it was so many easy buckets. But I do think that there is value on the winner of the 9-10 game making the playoffs. But Minnesota, they kind of sapped it out because they're plus 105.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of assuming that Minnesota is in the 7-8 game. Like, those numbers, plus 105 tells me that Minnesota's in the 7-8 game and not in the 9-10 game. So if you like Minnesota, you wait and you just see if they lose. And if they find themselves in a 9-10 game, then you're going to get better juiced odds for them to make the playoffs. Other than that, and I can see, because what's New Orleans' last 3? 4. New Orleans has the Kings, the Grizzlies, the Knicks, and the Timberwolves.
That's pretty tough.
Oh, so the last game of the season is that's probably going to decide who makes it. That Pelicans Timberwolves game, and that probably decides who's the 8 and who's the 9. Or yeah.
That is a pretty tough 4-game stretch there.
I'm going to. I say we dance with the one that brought us, and we've been riding OKC all year.
Plus all year.
I think that everybody's talking about they want to see Luka Doncic in the playoffs. I think we deserve a SGA in the playoffs. I think we truly deserve that.
I think you put it a little bit down on both. They're both plus 750 right now to make the playoffs. Thunder plus 750 and the Mavericks are plus 750.
Yeah, we deserve, because Jason Tatum dropped. Didn't Jason Tatum drop 50 in a game that didn't matter?
Possibly.
There's some game that he dropped 50 in a game that didn't matter. That's what happens. Shea drops 50 and they end up playing and they move on. Yeah, we dance with the one that brought us. We've been riding with OKC all year. Saying how good of a season they have. I know that they're folding right now, but we trust them to somehow, some way find a way in. We take OKC plus 750. I guess we give Luka the respect of the league trying to push him, and we take him at plus 752.
Okay.
All right.
Tatum dropped a 51 piece on Charlotte back in January.
No, it's another game. What was that game that they said didn't count for the record? Was it in the play-in? But Boston hasn't been in the play-in, have they?
I don't know. Boston's never been in the play-in.
No. So what game was it that they said that I gotta go look it up. It's some game where they said he dropped 50 points and it didn't matter. I just thought it was funny.
Okay. All right. Well, let me before we move over to the Eastern Conference, let me tell everyone about Sword Vitality. Self-care is cool. Self-care is manly, and be proud of taking care of yourself. 40% of men are affected by impotence at the age of 40, and nearly 70% of men are affected at the age of 70. Stop buying those highly suspect pills in gas stations. You know you've bought them, and some of them work, some of them don't work. No more hiding that little blue pill in your sock drawer either. You manscape, but do you also take care of the plumbing? Sword Vitality helps increase your blood flow in ways that help you thrive as a man. It's time to become a Sword Vitality man. And if you aren't experiencing erections in the morning, talking about Sword Vitality should be as comfortable as anything else men talk about with their partners. You like to hike, you love watching football, and you can also tell your partner without any discomfort that you use Sword Vitality. There's 3 main benefits when it comes to using Sword Vitality. Increase blood flow in ways that help you thrive as a man in the bedroom. Sword Vitality can help increase your stamina, and you don't have to hide it. You can be proud of it. Unsheath your sword. Visit swordvitality.com using promo code SGPN for a nice discount at checkout. That's swordvitality.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by the Golf Gambling Podcast and their tailor-made driver contest. It's Masters Week. The contest is completely free to enter. You have a chance to win an awesome tailor-made driver. The drawing will take place on Sunday, April 8th. So make sure you get in by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. All right, Terrell, Eastern Conference. I think that they're right now, according to, well, not according to, but to most people, that there's a clear 1 and 2 that are possibly on a collision course into the Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee and Boston. I know you probably don't agree with Boston, but right now that's just a separation. Milwaukee looks like they're going to end up as a number 1 seed. Boston is at the number 2 seed. They have a 3-game lead over the Philadelphia 76ers, who the Sixers right now are in that 3rd spot. So between 2nd and 3rd, between Boston and Philly, there's a 3-game separation. So 1 and 2 is pretty much decided. I think Philly is pretty much also cemented into that 3 spot, where they have a 2.5-game lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then the Cavs, I think, are also pretty much cemented into that 4th spot, where they have a 3-game lead over the New York Knicks, who are that 5th team. So right now, as it stands, 1, 2, 3, and 4
and
are
5
pretty much decided. And 5 too.
Yeah, the Knicks clinched the playoffs.
Yeah. So 5. So Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, and Knicks. It's looking like it's going to be a Cavs and Knicks 1st-round matchup. And then I think also, Terrell, what do you think? Brooklyn Nets are cemented into that 6th spot as well. They have a 2-game lead over the 7th seed Miami Heat.
Yeah, 4 games left with Timberwolves, Pistons, Magic, 76ers. They could go to they could legitimately go 2 and 2 during that span. And that 2 games is what Miami needs. Miami has Pistons, 76ers, Heat. So I think that there's still a conversation to be had with 4 games left, 2-game lead. There's still a conversation to be had for those 2, but I think it's fairly for certain that the Knicks, 3 games left, Pacers, Pelicans, Pacers, that they're pretty much cemented into 5.
Yeah. So right now, 6 through 10 are separated. Well, so the conversation is going to be who's going to end up as a 6th seed, whether it's Brooklyn or Miami, because they're only separated by 2 games. And then 8, 9, and 10 are separated by 1 game. And that is pretty much it. Nobody below them can get into the play-in tournament bracket in the Eastern Conference, because pretty much every team has been eliminated.
Well, Orlando
Magic.
Yeah, I was about to say Orlando technically has not been eliminated.
Yet.
I guess if they win all 4 with some losses, they can actually get in. But we can go ahead and chop them out.
Yeah, they have the 2nd hardest schedule remaining. They have 2 against the Cavs, 1 against Brooklyn, and then 1 against Miami to the Orlando Magic.
That's tough. 4 teams that are all in the playoffs. If you want to get to the playoffs, you're gonna have to earn it.
Yeah. So right now, which ends up at 1 seed. So right now, if the playoffs started as of today, you would have a matchup between the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks for the 7th spot, and then obviously the loser of that matchup would play the winner of the 9 and 10 seed right now, which is the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Toronto Raptors are play-in tournament bound, we can say. It's just going to be figuring out who's going to be playing who in that 7 to 10 bracket. As far as odds right now go, Terrell, for Miami, they are minus 650 to make the playoffs. Atlanta, minus 120 to make the playoffs. Toronto, plus 125 to make the playoffs. And the Chicago Bulls are at plus 285. Any of that excite you? Or I guess let's start the conversation on who we think is going to end up as a 7th and 8th seed.
Well, I think that there is, if you just go off of the history of
the Hawks in the play-in tournament.
No, but I'm just talking about the Hawks in this season. Have they won back-to-back games all season?
So there was a tweet that I saw yesterday that said They haven't won consecutive games in, I think, I don't know if it was all season or like 70 something days. And they've given up they've scored one less point than the amount of points that they've given up as well.
The last time they won back-to-back games was that back-to-back set against the Wizards earlier this month. But like, so maybe it was 3 games in a row that they're. Yeah, so I think maybe it was 3 games in a row. They haven't put together a win. Oh, maybe it was longer than 2 games. That might have been it. That it was longer than 2 games. Because I'm just seeing a bunch of 2-game win streaks, but like that third game, is looking pretty sick. Oh, okay, here we go. We got a 3-game win streak in January. All right. Oh wait, is that 4? Oh, they did. January was a good month for them. All right. I mean, I don't know, man. I just do we think the Hawks have a pretty hard schedule going back? Like you have the Bulls, Wizards, 76ers, Celtics. I guess you're hoping that the 76ers and Celtics aren't playing for anything. But how many times have we seen teams blow that?
Yeah. It's happened more often than not, I think.
This game tomorrow against the Bulls and it's crazy because the Bulls are favored in that game. So they're favored in the game tomorrow. But that doesn't sound right. Hold on, wait. That doesn't sound right. So they both have the same record, right? 39-39.
No. Chicago is 38-40.
Oh, okay.
That's one less game. Yeah.
Oh, but they would have the same record if they win the game.
If Chicago wins, yeah, then Atlanta and Chicago would have the same record. Yeah.
So if Chicago's favored to win, but Chicago's plus 280 to make it, and Atlanta won. What is that? I think there's too much assumption that Atlanta is just gonna like they're minus 120. I think there's too much assumption that they're just gonna get into the play-in and win. And it's like, wait, Atlanta's been a 500 ball club all year. Like I don't think that expecting them to win 2 games in a row. Maybe it's just one if they hold on to the 7-8. But if they fall to 9-10, I don't think them winning 2 games in a row is automatically for certain.
Yeah. And this season, so this is going to be the 4th game this season, and the Chicago has won 2 out of the 3 matchups. So this is a big game, obviously, for Atlanta. If they want to get any type of, obviously, seeding.
That secures a tiebreaker for
as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't like the Bulls. I think the only for sure team that I feel confident that they can survive the play-in is the Raptors.
Yep. I could get behind that.
I think that's it. I think that's the only team that I feel like 100% confident that they can survive the play-in. I will bet Raptors to make the playoffs at plus 125. I think that they can even if they're sitting there at 9-10, I think that they have the experience to be able to win 2 games in a row. But and let me look at what games they got left. If they find themselves in the 7-8, that's even better. Because you potentially have a clash with Miami or Brooklyn, potentially. And so, I mean, they got the Hornets tomorrow in Charlotte. Okay.
And they just beat them by 20 on Sunday.
Celtics, Bucks. That's a tough schedule in the season. Yep. Celtics twice and Bucks. That's a tough schedule in the season. But the fact is that we know they're making the play-in. Like, it's not they're falling out. So I'd like them at plus 125 to be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's just going to obviously depend if they end up as the 8th seed or the 9th seed or the 10th seed, right? And I think whoever is the higher seed has the home court advantage, right? So if you're the 7th seed, you play the game at home. And if you're the 9th seed, you play the game at home, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, I do like Toronto. And we talked about this when we were previewing the second half of the season. I think me and Scott talked about betting on Toronto to make the playoffs. I forget what the price was. I do remember us mentioning Toronto to make the playoffs. So I do like that as well. Chicago at plus 285. I guess at that point, you're kind of thinking that Miami doesn't make it. I know Miami has been very impressive this year, especially on the road, 15-23 overall right now. And they have on their schedule, They have the second easiest schedule remaining, and it's teams against that are below 500. So it's Pistons, Magic, and Wizards for the Miami Heat, and the only tough matchup is going to be Philly. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think plus 125 is probably the bet here for the Eastern Conference. I mean, not a bigger conversation as it was about the Western Conference, where everything was just so tight between like the 5th seed and all the way down to the 11th seed. But
okay, wait. Let's rewind back to the West because I just saw a bet and I'm about to get down on it because this is the ultimate underdog bet. I know you guys, you know my infatuation with Utah. Oh, they just pulled it.
I just saw it too.
That is insane.
I'm looking at exactly
oh my God, they just pulled it. Wow. Okay, this is what I get for trying to have a monologue. Oh, they just pulled it.
That just tells you
okay,
that
so I'm on DraftKings. So I'm on DraftKings, and basically I'm looking at the West. Can mention that they're watching. Yes, they're 100% watching the show because they knew what I was going to say. So yes, Utah has been our underdog pick all season. I'm literally looking at to participate in the West play-in tournament. It was 30-1 for Utah just to participate. Basically, they get the 10 seed.
Yeah,
and a 10 seed that nobody wants. All the teams are right there. They were 30-1, and they just pulled it.
Try another book. Try FanDuel.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm looking at standings right now. They're 1.5 games out of that 10th spot.
And they have the matchup with the Thunder.
With the Thunder, the head-to-head matchup. And we don't know what Dallas is going to do. Yeah.
And this team doesn't give up. We just talked about it. They don't give up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And if they got that victory yesterday.
I was literally about to get down on that bet right then and there.
Let me see if it's on FanDuel.
Playing. No, they pulled it on there too.
Yeah.
To make the West play-in. It's only the East play-in. Some news just dropped. Let me go search Twitter. What news just dropped?
Yeah, I don't see anything. I just see East up still right now. All right, you try to scrap that up. You find that?
Yeah, no, I ain't got it. No, we can keep moving. But just know that's the bet I'm looking at. Whenever they have to put it back up. There's no way
they'll put it back up. Yeah.
But it was 30-1. Like insane odds for a team that one is playing the 10 seed head to head. So that's automatically gonna give an extra boost. And then two, they're just really good as a dog. And like that's insane that they really just pulled that. All right. What else we got before we wrap up today?
I mean, that's all I had. You have anything else? I mean, are you sweating anything to end the season as far as win totals or anything with 4 games left for the final week?
I haven't even looked at. I got to go back and look at the win totals. I haven't looked at that at all. That's for another show. We can have that conversation for another show.
Okay. All right. So you want to give out a best bet before we get out of here? I know we talked about a couple of things that we do like as far as miss playoffs or participate in play-in tournament. Anything you want to give out right now to the listeners?
Let's give out the Raptors to make the playoffs. I don't think they fold. Of all those teams, I don't think the Raptors fold. Raptors make the playoffs plus 125.
Okay. What is... they're not going to win out. Damn. Yeah, I think I want to co-sign. There's nothing else that I really did like. If you want to sprinkle... Yeah, Raptors plus 25 for me as well. Clippers to miss the playoff 6-1. I don't hate that. Yeah, I'll give those two out. Clippers have missed the playoffs 6-1, and then Raptors at plus 125 to make the playoffs. And unfortunately for Terrell, they just pulled the Western Conference to participate in the play-in tournament. What do you think about Nets 20-1 to participate in the play-in tournament?
Huh. That's wait, because so you're basically saying that the Heat are locked into being the 7 seed.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they are saying. Yeah. And then for the Miami Heat to make the playoffs right now is minus 650.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. You should just bet Brooklyn to participate in the play-in.
Yeah.
But hold on. So they had the Pistons, 76ers, Wizards, Magic left. They're 2 games back. If they go 3-1, what does that put them at?
3-1, they'll be the 6th seed for sure. Then talking about Brooklyn, right?
Yeah. Who has the tie? We got to figure out who has the tiebreaker between Miami and Brooklyn.
I think Miami has it, if I'm not no, because Nets beat them recently, didn't they? Hold on, let me see. Nets versus. So Nets have won
2 games,
3.
Yeah, they won 3. Yeah, they won 3. Yeah. So
okay.
So yeah, no, the Nets have the tiebreaker, so they would need to win out.
Miami would have to win out, and then
the Nets would have to collapse.
They would have to go like 1-3 down the stretch.
Timberwolves, Pistons, Magic, 70. Oh yeah, that is 20-1. Still seems like that's like, I feel like the value is there, even though the probability of it hitting isn't.
Yeah. All right. Maybe just to dig into something deeper. All right. So that's something for us to, really catch up on. Any championship futures or conference futures? Anything that sticks out to you, Terrell, before we get out of here? Right now, Eastern Conference, you have the winner is the Bucks at +145 and Celtics at +150. Then there's a drop off to the Sixers at +475. I think the more interesting conversation is probably the Western Conference. Phoenix right now is favored at +210, Denver at +330, and then Golden State +550. Grizzlies 6-1, Clippers +850.
I really have a hard time telling you anybody in the West that's beating Phoenix in 7 games.
I don't think so either.
Like Kevin Durant, like you have to root for injury to Kevin Durant or Chris Paul or Devin Booker.
I think that even without Chris Paul, if it's still Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, I still think
so. So if Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are on the team playing at the same time, they're walking into the finals. I really can't see anybody beating them 4 times. I can't do it.
I think, and I was having a conversation with someone last night, that if the Lakers end up as a 6th seed, I think they have a easier path to the Western Conference Finals than if they were in that 1-8-4-5 range.
Yeah, I'm not wavering. I'm still on Milwaukee to win the East. I guess that's +145. Suns to win the West, 210. As my favorite ones, 76ers at +475 is probably the only outlier in the East that I would look at.
Okay.
And then you have a I think the West can go a lot of ways, and it just depends if the Suns are healthy or not.
Yeah, if an injury doesn't occur between either Devin Booker, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant.
The Western Conference is +105 to win the NBA Finals. I think that's some value.
Yeah, but if you think Phoenix is going to come out, you might as well just take Phoenix at +210, no?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. So a little catch-up episode here on what's going to transpire over the final week of the regular season here. Terrell, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here, my man?
No. I am good. I have nothing actually.
All right. So we'll be back tomorrow at the usual time to discuss the final week of the regular season games, tipping off on Tuesday. Huge schedule tomorrow, so we'll be back here at the usual time. Make sure to follow Terrell on Twitter and Instagram at @reallyrail__. Follow me on Twitter at sportsnerd824. But guys, before you get out of here, do us a favor, hit that like button on the stream here and subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast. We're ever so closer on YouTube to getting 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel here. So if you haven't already subscribed to us, do us a favor. Also follow us on Twitter at SGPN NBA. All right, we will be back tomorrow, like I said, with myself, Scott, and Delonte. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.